South Africa is in need of leadership which can see and envisage things on an international scale, not only when you fly to New York, but all the time. South Africa is in need of leadership that can see things on an international scale and of international significance, to see the importance of the country internationally and govern and lead in that respect. You know, I see the current parties, political parties, fighting and arguing about homegrown territorial issues of residences, which carry financial importance, but carry no significance in the leadership and the development of the country internationally. And while the rest of the international community stands by and laughs and finds it very amusing what a local mentality they have, South Africa continues to lose ground and lose significance. The rand continues to go through its continual ups and downs and weakening of the rand in relation to other currencies, because there's no respect for the current currency of the country. Okay, and I believe that South Africa can be brought back onto the map if the right leadership is introduced to lead this country. The rand, which should be phased out in exchange for the implementation of the South African dollar, or the local South African dollar, can begin to compete again on an international level with other currencies like the euro and the American dollar. This country can again begin to become respected and noted on the map internationally. But right now, there's absolutely no desire, there's no intention whatsoever to make South Africa internationally respected as a contender or as a player internationally. There's no desire to make it internationally recognizable as a contender. There's not even any concern about it. And we will only see the rand recover in relation to the dollar and the euro when the necessary changes are implemented in this country that need to have long been addressed. And our mentality needs to be taken off issues of huts and residences and unrest and strikes. The international community doesn't need to hear about the strikes and hear about the arguing and the bickering going on in the workplaces. They don't need to hear about that. The international community doesn't need to hear about the bickering and the arguing and the fighting. The international community isn't interested in hearing about arguing over huts and arguing over residences, private residences in this country, be it financially important. They're not interested in hearing about it. Okay. The international community is not interested in hearing about our localized issues of non-significance. It plays absolutely no role in the importance and the future of South Africa as an international player. That is why people like Sol Kersner have long left the country. They still may be involved with interests here. They've long left to continue on with other projects abroad. And we continue to have successful businessmen here in our country, like the long-established Rupert family, the De Beers Mining, businessmen like Visser, the Christo Visser. Hopefully South Africa can still manage to attain and keep some of these long-established families in our country. Let's hope we don't lose these influential people in the future of the country. But until South Africa starts to address the key issues of this country and take its mentality out of the sand and its head out of the sand and see itself as an international contender and an international player, this country's problems are not going to be solved. That is why South Africa is in strong need of new leadership, fresh directional leadership at this time. That is why we feel, in spite of my involvement in the film industry in Hollywood, and my involvement in California in roles that are opening up in film like the James Bond project, we see the strong need to develop and introduce a new party in South Africa a new party in South Africa, be it necessary at this time for the future of the country, even if it means that someone like myself has to sacrifice 4 years of my life in the future, a sacrifice of time and a sacrifice of revenue earning potential overseas in the film industry in order to help this country on its feet, help this country to total freedom, financial and economic freedom, and freedom for the people. Time invested in the future and the lifeblood of the country. For me to come to South Africa, if I'm involved in projects like the James Bond project and the future of the James Bond project and other film projects that may be developing for me overseas, is a sacrifice. Therefore, the establishment of a new political party in South Africa, for me, revenue-wise, is a sacrifice of my time and my energy. But for the future and the lifeblood of the country, to be able to be steered to freedom, to be able to be steered to be seen as an international player and no longer a localized African player, may be necessary. Okay. To see the restoration of our defense forces and our air forces and the South African Air Force to once again a respected international player in Department of Defense, where aircraft are not sitting on the ground, where the pilots and the aircrew are getting their necessary flight hours in every month and every year, that these are not being encroached upon by VIP transport and other bad mismanagement, is an important factor for the future of the country. That South Africa needs to be has to be led and directed and led to change, necessary change that needs to be implemented. Solutions that are staring the current government and leadership in their face, but that are not being recognized. The upgrade and advancement of Robben Island in the establishment of further establishing the tourist industry by building of preserving the current museum and prison as a national monument, but hotels, restaurants, tourist industry, ferries, hovercrafts, establishing of the international film community like Hollywood, modeled on California in South Africa, producing films and movies locally, which can be of equal significance internationally as which are being produced in Hollywood right now, replacing a lot of the revenue that is being lost through the mining industry right now in South Africa, the general demise and decline of our mineral and our gold resources, revenue that is being lost, being replaced through industries like the movie industry, injection of financial resources, creation of employment through tourism. Many solutions that are staring the country in the face that are not even being recognized, because political parties and current leaders have their heads stuck in the ground. They have not lived abroad, many of them. They have not traveled abroad for extensive periods. They have a very localized mindset, a very localized outlook, and they cannot see the current problems and the current solutions for the country. That is why I believe that South Africa is in need of new leadership right now.